Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, and today I'm going to show you how to make this portable entertainment device that you can keep in the car or bring with you into a restaurant or doctor's appointment anytime you get your kids with you and you want to keep them entertained. I want to thank Papermart. They're our sponsor for today's video. This little tin is available at Papermart. You can check them out online at www.papermart.com. Now let's get on with the project. For today's project, you simply need a container or a baggie, something to hold the activity pages we're going to make. You will need some dry erase markers to put in the tin, and these are just from the dollar spot at Target. You'll need some paper cut to the size of your tin or baggie, and I'm using 4x4 paper. And you'll need a ruler, some markers, and you'll need a laminator or some clear contact paper. Either will work just as well, but since I have a laminator, I'm going to use it. Also, I think in the long run it is cheaper to use a laminating pouches in a heat laminator than it is to use contact paper. Plus, I can't really very well wrangle a roll of contact paper while I'm trying to do a video. So the first thing I'm going to do is take one of these pages, and I'm just going to round the corners. It'll make it a little nicer to laminate with the rounded corners, and it will make them last a little longer so the corners won't get bent. There we go. And so first I'm just going to use a fine tip marker, and I'm just going to write, I think I'll do a tic-tac-toe game. And then I'm just going to draw some tic-tac-toe games out here. And of course, anybody can do this. And then you could even have like a little scoreboard here. Player 1. Player 2. And you know, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. If you wanted to add a little color to it, you could take like a really light marker and just, you know, go over with the chisel edge and just kind of add a little bit of color. It's really, you know, it's just something to keep them entertained in the car. The decoration is not essential. The decoration is just for fun. Now, my laminator is not quite ready yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do the next little game, which will be a dot-to-dot game. And those are really fun. My kids really enjoy them. And you take turns. See, these games, some of these are to do with a friend or a sibling. So when they're sitting in the backseat of the car and they're bored out of their mind, they can very well be playing a game with their brother or sister. I've got 3 kids. I don't like to let them just play video games in the car. I don't have a DVD player in my minivan. I don't want a DVD player in my minivan. So, you know, something like this is just so easy and keeps them entertained for hours and keeps them from fighting and squabbling. And honestly, I think kids need to learn how to get along with each other and not have their face stuck in a screen all the time. Anyways, this is just a, you know, basic dot-to-dot game. I'll show you at the end of this video how you actually play it, because you may have no idea what this is. Basically a grid of dots, and you take turns connecting one dot to the other. Players take turns, use different color markers, and then when you complete a box, write your name in it or your initial, and I'll just do it at the end of the video. It will make much more sense. I'm going to round those corners too. My laminator takes a little while to warm up. Takes about 5 minutes. I'm in a chilly basement, so you know, it does take a bit for those to warm up. And I'm just going to leave that like that. Let's see, we could do a hangman game. Maybe I'll use a different color. Maybe I'll use, see how this bright orange works. And then you just, very simple here, just like you were playing it as a child. Just draw a hangman's noose. You can get kind of fancy with it if you want. You add some brown in there. I'm just using some fine tip markers, but you can use whatever you have. They don't have to be permanent because you're going to laminate them. Just going to make this a little bit more fancy. I like that wood grain. Pretty realistic, isn't it? Okay. And then I'll just write hangman on there in case the kids don't really know what this game is. And that that's a really nice one because it helps them with their vocabulary and spelling, so it's a really good game for the kids to play. Oh look, my laminator is ready, which is nice. So I'm going to start feeding through some of these little games. And you can, you know, round the corners just with scissors. You don't have to have them perfect. They will save wear and tear if you have rounded corners. So when you laminate, you just open up the packet and put your item to be laminated in. And I like to put it in with the fold of the packet going into the machine because it keeps it from wrinkling. And once you get it in there, just stop and the machine will feed it through itself. It can be a bit tricky to open up sometimes. I'm so coordinated. There we go. And you can tell it's laminated properly because see how it's cloudy right now? When it comes out of the machine, it will be crystal clear. You'll see that in just a second. These I found a good deal at ABC Distributing for the laminating machine and pouches, and it seems to be a pretty good little rig I've got here. So I'm very pleased. I've used it several times, and it's worked out very well. So here you can see is the completed, how clear it is when it's laminated. You can see how cloudy it is before it's laminated. So I just want to make sure that I have enough space around it. So I'm just pulling that away from the edge. And these bigger pieces are pretty easy to laminate without wrinkling. So I thought it may be also kind of fun to do like a doodly face. So why don't I just grab like a kind of a peach color, and I'm just going to draw in a face. And maybe I'll just put a little nose in there just so that they can have a little face to doodle. They can draw a mustache, they can draw hair, they can draw earrings, whatever. I don't know if you can see that very well. See there? And again, round my corners. So, and you could put some blank ones in there. You could put some like comic book storyboard type pages in there. Whatever you think your kids would be inspired by and would want to use. This is great to bring with you in a restaurant or at a doctor's office. My kids are always asking me if I have a notebook in my purse when we're waiting because I don't let them bring their, you know, DSs or junk like that around. I think they need to be able to entertain themselves for a little while without having a screen in front of their face. And also I think they should be able to talk to their siblings and not be and not have to be entertained by a screen. So I'm just going to do this also, this little landscape thing. I think this will be fun. Just have like a sky and land, and then they could kind of draw a scene. It's just like creative prompts. It's you know, sometimes it's hard when you look at a blank piece of paper and say, okay, now be creative. Well, what do I draw? Well, here, you know, at least here you're prompting. You're putting like a, you know, face that needs to be filled in, or a landscape that needs to be finished. It just gives them a starting point, because sometimes, you know, you tell somebody, okay, be creative, and it's paralyzing. You know, you have a blank piece of paper and you don't know what to do with it. So this will just kind of take a little of the, you know, wondering what to do away. And I'll put a blank piece in there too. And of course the backs of a lot of these are going to be blank, and they could just, you know, write on them with the markers. Now on the back of this, I'm going to write some prompts. My marker did leak through because it's a solvent marker, but I'm gonna just write ideas. There, so that just gives them a few ideas to go on when they pull this little page out. This paper's a little damp from my marker, so you'll see it's not going to want to punch as easily as the others. That's just a little tip. When you're having a hard time using your punches, you can always dry your paper with a hair dryer or an embossing gun, and that will make it punch better. Especially if you live in a humid area, you may find your punches don't work very well. You just need to dry your paper, whisk out that extra moisture, and you'll be in business. Alright, I'll send that through. You could even go online and find like word searches or crosswords or hidden pictures, but those are going to be a little limited. Once they solve the puzzles once, they're really probably not going to bother doing it again. So at least something like this, they can be creative over and over again. So while that's laminating, I'm going to show you how to trim these out. You want to leave a border. I would say 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch border, so that these stay laminated really well, and around the edges as you go. Alright, do that to each of them. That one just came out. Let's put the next one through. I just love this laminator. It's a lot of fun. I like melting things, obviously. Get some bubbles in that one, but that's going to be cut off. And there's very little odor with the laminator, which is kind of nice. I didn't know if like maybe the melting of those plastic packets would be stinky, but it seems to be pretty good. Okay, oh, I promised to show you this dot-to-dot game. So if you're playing this dot-to-dot game, I honestly never played these as a kid. It was, I didn't really know about it until I had kids. Well, you'd have 2 kids and they would be playing this game, and the first one would, you know, connect 2 dots. Then the next one would connect 2, and they might go all over the board or whatnot, but then whoever completes the box, so like here, would put their initial in there. And then you count up how many boxes you completed by the end. So there's some strategy, so it's really kind of cool. It's a really fun game for the kids. Alright, I've laminated all my sheets, so I'm just going to turn off my machine so I don't waste electricity. Probably not good for the machine to leave it on if you're not using it. Most machines are like that. Alright, cut up our little hangman game. I'll probably bring this with me. I have a class I'm teaching this afternoon. I'll probably stick this in my bag and then see if the kids are interested in playing with it if they're done with their knitting projects. Alright, so stack these all up and they go in the tin. And of course you can make others. And you put in your dry erase markers. You can even fit one of these long ones in there. And there you go. You have a nice back seat. I call it a portable entertainment device. It doesn't take batteries. Woohoo! I want to thank our sponsor, Papermart, today. You can check them out online at www.papermart.com, where they make you look even better. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.